They sent him to destroy you, but love held him down. A time would come when darkness would rise and send forth its chosen one, a warrior made strong in the fires of hate and pain. This one was meant to bring ruin to the light that stood against the endless dark. He was the blade sharpened to cut down the hope that lived in the hearts of the tired and the worn. They who lived in the deep dark prepared him with great care. They filled his mind with pictures of winning through total end. They gave him words that could hurt and acts that could break apart. His path was set clear in their sight. He would walk forward and leave only quiet and dust behind. Yet the ways of fate turned in directions no dark could guess. The warrior came as they had planned. His steps made the ground tremble, and his coming hid the sun from those who looked on in worry. He carried the weight of their others on his back. Every look from him promised the close of brighter times. The people shook as he came near. They saw in him the finish of all that was kind and right. But everything began to move in the air around him. Something unseen and full of power started to work its way into his steps. Your love reached him like the first warm light after endless cold nights. It found the hidden cracks in the hard shell he wore and slowly melted away the ice that had formed around his heart for so long. He stood straight at first, ready to let loose the storm he was made to bring. His voice rang with the cold, sure knowledge of one who knew only how to break. He spoke of closes and of the weakness of those who held to kindness. He lifted his hand to strike at the heart of the light he had been sent to pull out. His task was to end things. Love had no room in the world he was meant to make. Still, the feeling grew. It moved through him like a soft river finding its path through broken rock. He had been taught that soft ways were weak. He had learned that giving in was a chain that held the strong. Yet, here, in the nearness of the very light he sought to end, something inside him began to wake. The light did not meet him with blades or with wild anger. It simply shone. It gave no fight in the way he had thought it would. Instead, it wrapped around him with a soft touch he had never felt. It reached the places in his soul that had stayed cold and empty for many years. He fought against it with all his power. He called on the dark that had raised him. He tried to bring up the anger that had driven his every move. But the more he pushed, the deeper the warmth went into him. It was as if the light had found the hidden breaks in his hard cover, the lost corners where a small spark of something better had waited without sound. Where others saw only a weapon sent to destroy, your love saw a soul waiting to be freed. With every quiet moment you stood near, his heavy steps grew lighter and his sharp words softened. The hate that once drove him began to fade as your love taught him the strength found in kindness and the peace that comes from opening his heart. Your love changed the warrior they had made into a man who could heal instead of harm, who could build instead of break, and who could finally see the beauty in a world he once wanted to end. Small pieces of dreams from his first days, dreams he had hidden under layers of hard training and duty, dreams of joining instead of winning by force, of calm instead of hurt. The dark ones that had sent him watched from far away with growing anger. They sent quiet calls into the wind, pushing him to hit harder and quicker. They reminded him of his reason for being. They drew pictures in his mind of the great win that would be his if he finished the task. But their calls started to grow weak like voices lost in open space. Something stronger was rising inside the warrior. It was love, clean and firm, moving through him like a power older than all known time. It did not shout or ask with force. It simply was and asked him to see the world in fresh eyes. News of his change moved through the valleys and past them. Those who had feared the warrior now looked on in wonder. They saw a man made new, walking among them, not as a bringer of dark, but as one who carried a fresh kind of flame. He spoke no more of closes. Instead, his voice carried tales of stats and of fresh chances. He helped fix what had been ripped. He lifted those who had dropped. The dark ones pulled back further into their secret places, lost and made weak by what had taken place. Love had defeated him in the most surprising way. It did not win with power. It simply showed the truth that had always waited there, resting below the top. The warrior they sent became the one who proved that even the darkest soul could find its way back to light. He became a living mark that no task of ruin was past saving. The foretelling that once spoke of ending now sang of fresh starts. As the days turned into seasons, the warrior walked the paths he once planned to ruin. He placed seeds where he had once meant to burn the ground. He made bridges where he had planned to pull down. Children who once hid from his form now ran to him with joy. In the end, it was your love alone that turned his path from ruin to renewal and set him free to become the man he was always meant to be.